7 hours on a narrow body. A route from a regional airport. A business class seat that's not likely to be a flat bed. Many are writing off Virgin Australia before their Cairns to Haneda route even begins. But behind all the noise and criticism lies a genius strategy. How, you ask? Let's find out. Now, for more aviation content like this, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. It was way back in 2019 that Haneda Airport released a number of slots from Haneda to Australia in response to the demand for the Tokyo Olympics. 2 would be released to Japanese Airlines and 2 to Australian Airlines. Virgin jumped on this opportunity and intended to commence a Brisbane to Haneda service in March 2020. We all know what happened in March 2020.
The Italian government tonight put the entire country on lockdown.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe.
Virgin went into administration and now operates an exclusively narrow-body fleet, which will continue with the 737 MAXs coming later this year. With the world now opened up, the slots are still there. However, if Virgin decides not to use them, they will lose the right to fly to Tokyo's most centrally located airport. The rights will then go to their fierce rival, Qantas. It is in Virgin's long-term interest to keep this slot. Haneda isn't exactly an airport where slots are in abundance. On the contrary, it would be incredibly difficult to regain this slot once lost. Virgin's fierce rival Qantas took a full 5 years to get a slot there once the airport was reopened to international traffic way back in 2010. One would argue it would take even longer now. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as the perfect time. Virgin can wait to assess the market in future years or wait to see if they can afford a wide body, but it would all be in vain if they didn't have that precious landing slot. Virgin is making this move as a strategic one, which they hope will pay off in the long run. Now, with the launch of this route, a full 7.5 hours on a 737 MAX, many would call this move narrow-minded. Surely this is crazy. Surely nobody does this, right? Wrong. Well, if I were to ask you, where do you think this flight would rank amongst the longest narrow-body flights? First? Third? Maybe 5th? Nope. The distance of 3,645 miles or 5,865 kilometers wouldn't even make the top 10 for longest narrow-body flights. The longest narrow-body flight in the world at the time of writing is Scandinavian Airlines Flight 925 from Copenhagen to Washington Dulles, operating with an A321neo. This flight goes for a whopping 9 hours and 30 minutes, flying 4,074 miles or 6,557 kilometers. So while narrow bodies flying long distances is a bit of a foreign concept in the Asia Pacific, there are plenty of examples of this in the transatlantic market. In particular, United Airlines use their 757, Aer Lingus use their A321LRs, and La Compagnie using their A321neo, just to name a few. I'm not saying this is ideal by any means, but when your only competition on this route is low-cost carrier Jetstar, it is certainly feasible that Virgin could provide a superior product, capture market share, and make this route profitable, even if it is on a narrow-body aircraft. There are many airlines around the world with a great reputation, and rightly so. They've been around for decades. Virgin Australia itself has earned its own stripes, even though it's been around for barely 20 years. No matter how good airlines are, no matter how experienced they are, every airline makes mistakes. It's just a matter of how big those mistakes really are. I'm referring specifically to introducing new routes. You can do all the market research you want, but it takes 12 to 15 months at the absolute minimum from when the route starts up to determine with certainty whether that route will actually be successful. There are endless factors like capacity, frequency, seasonality, loads at both ends, market size and response, advertising, pricing, you name it. While you can predict some of these with some accuracy, it is downright impossible to predict all of them. You will never actually know until the route is officially launched. This, coupled with what I said earlier about the rare availability of a Haneda slot, means Virgin have absolutely nothing to lose by launching this route. It is in their best interest to roll the dice. There simply isn't any demand between Cairns and Tokyo. Right? Or wrong? I mean, think back to 15 years ago when Qantas was operating 747s on this route. Okay, sure, the market has changed since then, but there is still a strong Japanese market. Japanese tourists these days are eager to visit more than just the Sydney Opera House. In particular, the younger generation in Japan have a huge sense of adventure, which would suit the far north Queensland and Great Barrier Reef market. Tourism in the other direction has gone from strength to strength, reaching over 500,000 Australian tourists into Japan in 2019. This marked 10 consecutive years of growth, and Japan is one of the most popular tourist destinations for Australians. With a modest aircraft size of approximately 180 passengers, Virgin will have no problems reaching the load factors they need to make this service viable. And while a wide-body aircraft would be a better experience for passengers, there's no guarantee they would get the load factor they needed, especially on this route. Moreover, the only known profitable route that Virgin Australia had before COVID were their trans-Pacific routes to LAX. So going through the process of leasing or purchasing an aircraft would be a huge risk. And while the business class product is unlikely to be a flatbed, don't forget their competition is Jetstar, whose business class is also akin to a full-service premium economy product. All in all, this is a masterstroke of a strategic decision by Virgin Australia, and I for one hope they succeed in making this route profitable. What do you think? Will Virgin succeed? Or should they have let go of the Haneda slot and not taken such a huge risk? Leave a like and comment below. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep flying high.